Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today we're checking out a 2024 Nissan Z manual transmission in the performance trim level. This vehicle is sitting on 255/40 tires in the front, 275/35 tires in the back, and these are Bridgestone tires wrapped around 19-inch alloy wheels with a gloss gray finish, kind of like a steel gray. It also has a high-performance braking system with ventilated disc rotors on all four wheels. This vehicle has the two-tone paint job with the gray and gloss black. So it's kind of like a destroyer gray or battleship type gray. And then it has the gloss black roof that extends and kind of goes along with the rear glass there, looking pretty good. Wait till you see the interior. It has a blue interior. So here in the front, very impressive. It's funny, actually, I've been approached by several people sitting in the parking lot, and they're like checking this vehicle out. I drive a lot of vehicles and new vehicles, and this one's gotten more attention than a lot of other ones. So it does have the parking sensors here in the front. Also, the radar adaptive cruise control sensor is located right here in the very center, right there, the radar. And you see the grille, you see the parking sensors integrated here, and it kind of has like a steel color, or a steel looking dark silver, I guess you can say, grille along with the matte black there at the bottom. And the headlights are an LED projector system that's actually pretty decent. You got to check out my night video on this vehicle. Pretty impressive. Low and high beams. So looking at the profile of the vehicle, it just looks fantastic. I think they did a great job with the overall shape and style of the vehicle. Really reminiscent of the best things that the Z vehicle over the years has offered. It's just a great looking car. The handles kind of blend in. They're body colored, so they blend in there at the door. There's also a gloss black roof with a two-tone paint job, and it also extends down to the pillars and the side mirrors as well. There's also this kind of metallic strip right in here, and a little matte black portion in here. New styling of the vehicle doesn't mean that it's a new key. It's basically the old key that the vehicle's had for a long time, or just Nissan in general has had this key for a long time. Now, this is a great key. It is very small and light, easy to carry around with you. It's a full proximity system, very simple to use. Lock, unlock, panic button, that's it. You have the key, you can drive the vehicle. So the way it's designed is it's just a button. It's a button to lock it, button again to press it, same button. There's no sensors or anything like that. There is a physical key location here on the driver's side only. Check out this blue interior. It's got the blue suede insert here in the door, and pretty just kind of basic door, not overly complex. This is all soft touch right in here. Of course, this is all soft touch. The bottom is the hard touch. Has a reflector there on the door. It even has a climate control vent here on the door. It has the Bose sound system. There's one of the speakers. It actually sounds pretty good. Has a pocket there at the bottom. This handle is open as well. The blind spot detection system, the indicator is here on the pillar instead of the side mirror. But yeah, that blue is looking really nice. Look at that. There's the illuminated Z badging here in the threshold, there on the sill plate. And check out the seats, really nice. So it has the blue heated seats, two-stage heated seats. Has the perforations there, the regular leather, and then the suede inserts here and here. And these are not like the Nismo Recaro seats. These actually don't squeeze you as much. They're not super comfortable for me, but I think most people would be fine with them. There's really thick pile carpet floor mats in here, looking pretty nice. And pretty decent amount of legroom as well. Now the glove compartment does have a locking glove compartment, kind of on the small side, but there's another compartment behind the seat. I'll show you that in a second. And then this is a rubberized, kind of rubbery, non-reflective dash. Fuel doors here on the passenger side, and has a traditional cap tether, a little place to hang the cap while you're pumping gas. Premium fuel, of course. This is the twin turbo V6, so it requires that that premium fuel. Looking at the back of the vehicle, you can see it has the gloss black there on the top, a little antenna as well integrated. At the top of the glass is the third brake light. Really well done, integrated. And you can see it has that gloss black that continues outside of the glass here. So if you were to tint this glass, it'd look a lot better, I think. It has a deck lid spoiler here. It'd be kind of cool if the black extended to that as well. That'd be kind of neat. Really nice LED taillights. Very sharp, kind of three-dimensional, popping out. Looking really nice LEDs. You got to check out my night video. Headlights, taillights. There's a lot of pluses on the lighting of this vehicle. So it has the parking sensors back here. You can see they're integrated into the gray portion. And check out this exhaust. Really nice looking exhaust. Sounds pretty decent too. Not overly loud, which I like. I like the fact that it's not overly loud. Now, one thing that kind of perplexes me is that they actually did integrate the backup camera really well as far as the integration of the vehicle. Like it's not like a tacked on down here somewhere, but the fact that it's offset just kind of bugs me, you know. Maybe if it was like right here or up here, somewhere a little bit better than just kind of offset like that. So the integration is good. The actual position is a little bit not great. Now lift up and release the hatch. The button for that's right in here. So you just reach in right here, press that, and it releases it. And then you can lift it up. It's very easy to lift up, by the way. It goes right up. So the cargo space back here is actually pretty decent. It's a little bit higher than a normal trunk, but you got pretty good amount of space. It's not like a super tall space though. But it's just the ease of just walking up and, you know, put stuff back here is pretty good. And it has that center bar there. So if you have anything here, you hit the brakes, it's not going to necessarily, you know, go flying in the front there since it's open. It does come with, this one has the cargo net there. It also has a first aid kit, which is pretty cool. They're kind of Velcroed, so you can just set them in there anywhere. There's also tie downs back here as well. There's a single light right here, which is not all that great, as you'll see in the night video. But yeah, I think it's pretty good cargo space, you know, considering the vehicle. I think it's designed pretty well. There is actually a subwoofer and some other stuff under here, but the subwoofer would probably sound better if it didn't have like multiple insulated layers over top of it. So yeah, it's under here. And it's one of those type of subwoofers that's usually integrated with a spare tire, which this vehicle doesn't have a spare tire, but it does have a tire inflator kit. But and there's some additional space here that you can utilize. It seems like there, you know, potentially could be a spare tire put back here, but it's hard to tell. You kind of, because you have to have a pretty good size tire. So, because you have the performance brakes and all that stuff. So, you know, not sure if it actually could be back here or not, but it's a huge styrofoam piece in here. Yeah, just overall impressed with the styling of the vehicle. Sure does get attention. As long as you have the key inside the vehicle, you just press and hold the brake and the clutch and press this button. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. The floor mat snaps in place on this side. There's the accelerator, brake, clutch, and footrest here, all with the raised rubber aluminum pedals, looking really nice and sporty. All right, so let's take a look under the hood. To raise the hood, there's a latch a little bit to the right of center, so right in here. Just reach in, lift up on it, and then you can see what it's doing right here. Now the hood's very light and easy to lift up. but it does require a prop to hold it up. Here's the prop here, and it swings up to right there. There's no insulation under the hood. I guess because they're like so tightly compact here. Now there is these releases right here on the hood, so if there's an impact, this pops up the hood. It makes it a little bit higher, so it has a little crumple zone, because it is really tight against where the engine compartment, the whole engine compartment is tight in general. So you can see it has this crossbar, goes all the way across. It even has the ability to adjust it, make sure it's nice and tight right there, and it connects these strut towers or suspension towers. But the engine is mostly covered up with this plastic cover here, but it does have a twin turbo V6, and there is not a lot of room in there. Has a little cover here for the battery, which is located right there. It's fairly easy to get to, actually. The inside of the driver's door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. There is the automatic one-touch up and down, power windows, door lock controls. Side mirrors are adjusted with this little joystick type thing. Just turn it to the left or right to adjust the one that you want. Now I just want to mention this right here, this vent. I usually keep them closed because they just tend to just blow right in your face. So on a hot summer day, they'd probably be good, but you know, any other time, they basically keep them closed because they're right there and aiming at you. Now the driver's seat's a little bit different than the passenger seat as far as the adjustments. It has these like manual dial height adjustments here on the side. And then I'll show you in a minute, the other controls are on this side. But yeah, really impressive looking seats. I love that blue color. Really do like this blue interior. Very impressive. So I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and I have the driver's seat all the way back and all the way down. I'm 6 feet tall, to give you an idea of the potential legroom here. Now, when the seat's all the way down, it feels like you're sitting on the floor. And which this type of vehicle, it's kind of gonna feel like that anyway, really. But the legroom is pretty decent overall. This right here is soft, but I don't really touch it that much when I'm driving. And just overall, it's actually pretty good. Now, depending, if you're like wearing boots or something, then there's a little bit of a limitation as far as the legroom right here. I had some bulky shoes on and I had to change them because it's just kind of getting jammed up a little bit. I can still drive the vehicle, but it's just a little bit better having smaller type shoes to fit in here, so that way I can reach the clutch and everything properly. But yeah, as far as this room, the nature of the vehicle, you're going to be kind of low down, your feet straight out basically, and but the seat isn't 100% comfortable for me. It does have manual height adjustments here on the left side, and then you have the adjustments here for going forward and back. And for me, pushing the clutch and everything, I probably pull it up just a few inches extra, just so that way I can get a good firm reach on the clutch and the brake. And then this is the tilt the back. So the controls are kind of split. Power here, and then on this side it's a manual kind of dials on the side there for the height adjustments. But overall, I mean, the seats are okay. They're not spectacular. For me, they're not like super comfortable or anything, but they're just not like super bad. I can drive the vehicle. It's not really a big deal. Okay, so the steering wheel is a full round steering wheel. I'm kind of surprised it's not flat bottom or anything. It'd be kind of neat if it had a little bit of a flat bottom, give you a little bit of extra room here, especially if you lower the steering wheel. The movement of the steering wheel goes down quite a bit, comes up quite a bit. You can also pull it in a little bit, in and out. But yeah, if it had like a flat bottom, if you kind of pull it down a little bit, I think that might be a little bit better, but it's okay the way it is. It's not a super soft steering wheel, but it's not really a big deal. It hadn't really had any problems with it as far as being, you know, digging into my hands or anything like that. But yeah, overall, it's a good, kind of decent steering wheel. It's nothing standing out as far as like making it sporty. There's no, you know, suede accents or any fancy, and it doesn't even have contrast stitching, just like regular stitching here. It does have the gloss black portion on the steering wheel as well, so you want to make sure you keep a cloth handy, because it's going to get a lot of fingerprints on it. I don't really mind it. I mean, it's, you know, I like to keep it clean anyway, so if you hide the fingerprints, then they're still there. It's just a matter of you not being able to clean them off or notice them. Okay, so, or yeah, that's more notice them. Okay, so there's the volume for the radio, change to the tracks. Then there's a couple buttons here that corresponds with the screen. And then here on the right side is cruise control. It does have the adaptive cruise control as well, in which you can set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. But it doesn't have any kind of like a lane keep assist or anything like that. Windshield wiper controls are here. Turn signals there with the headlight switch. It does have the automatic function as well. And the headlights are great. You got to check out the night video. Headlights are good. The automatic high beams seem to work good too. So right here to the right, there you go, kind of hiding here. That's your dimmer switch for the interior gauges. Also, you have a reset button there. And then here on the left side is the traction control off button. Default is on. If you want to spin tires, you can turn it off if you want. Okay, so here's the gauges here. And this is one view. There's a couple different views you can have. This is one of the views here, which looks really good. I think they did a pretty decent job with this, having a digital gauge cluster here. So it has a more standard, you know, kind of simulating dials here. So there's the RPMs here on the left side. The speedometer is on the right side. It does have a digital speedometer there in the center. And then you have the fuel gauge, of course, and the engine coolant temperature, outside temperature. Here in the center, they're showing the status of the safety features and stuff. What gear you're in, that's handy. And you notice it has a little S right there. That lets you know that the rev matching is activated. And also, you know, your range to empty. Now, these buttons here on the left side, if you just kind of scroll this, you can get additional information there in the center. So you can change your view there. And then if you just, depending on what your screen you're in, but if you press this button here, then it pops up, and then you can change meter view. Now you notice there's a couple things here: audio source, driver assistance, personal display. So you can select that, but note that kind of, those choices change depending on what quote meter you have, which is basically the screen. So let's go back here, change meter. So that's what we've been looking at so far has been the normal. Let's go to the sport, and it changes the view to this screen here. So now in this screen it's showing more focused on the RPMs, big tachometer there in the center. It does have the engine oil pressure, engine oil temperature, water temperature, and differential oil. So this will be more focused on your, you know, the performance as you're driving, keeping an eye on everything that's relevant as far as the engine and stuff like that. And it does have a digital speedometer here as well. So now if we scroll with this wheel, instead of that center part that we saw before, now it's showing this part in which tire pressure, boost pressure, G-force meter, and then settings. We can select the settings and go in here and change what we want. Go back out of that. So you notice that's a little bit different view here. Now it has the boost pressure here, but you actually have a fixed gauge cluster up here, which it has the boost pressure, but it also has the turbo speed, like the how fast the turbo's spinning, which is pretty rapid apparently. And then you have, because this is times 10 RPM, RPMs, 10,000 RPMs. So 5 would be 50,000 RPMs right off the bat. So then you have the voltage here. So you have those three gauges there. So this is kind of redundant, but it's, you know, sometimes if you want it there, you can have it there if you'd like. If you need to really focus on it, that might be better to have that right in front of you at times. And the G-force meter there. So let's go back here, change meter view. Now let's go, I accidentally hit sport. So let's go down to enhanced. Enhanced gives it kind of like a weird look here, three-dimensional look. It's kind of neat, I guess. So it has the dials kind of angled, and since we have a screen, we can make them look any way we want. So when we scroll the wheel now, we have this information here in the center, just kind of changes. select that. So change meter view. I kind of like the Sport, but also like the normal. I like the Sport normal. I don't really care for the Advanced that much, but the Sport's pretty cool. We'll just put it on that. It's pretty neat how it transitions. And there's the scroll wheel, there's the menu, I guess menu button, I guess you can call it. Change to the tracks, stuff like that. Alright, so having the gauges up here, kind of classic looking. This whole vehicle feels like they kept all the positive things from previous generations and then just kind of added some modern stuff. It's really well done, I think. Then here's the center screen, and the center screen just looks really good, and it's angled nicely. You can see it nice. It has a physical volume button, tune through the stations button, knob there, these knobs. And then it has physical buttons here at the bottom that you can quickly go through. Now they're calling this home the menu. So if you hit menu, it takes you to the home screen. And then it's kind of like has different icons, kind of shortcuts more or less. Pretty handy, I guess. There's your audio screen here. You have different audio sources, AM, FM, satellite radio, USB, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Bluetooth audio, that kind of stuff. Let's go to the radio here, see what it looks like. So that way you have a little bit of album art, and you have the presets there, that kind of stuff. So you can go to the map, see what it looks like here. Kind of zoom in and out here so you can see what it looks like. And then of course you can search and add addresses and stuff like that. Let's kind of see what it looks like so you can see it has the full keyboard. And it'll narrow it down for you as well. And then you can go into settings, different settings here. So yeah, that's kind of a quick rundown. It's very easy to use. It looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and put it in reverse so you can see what the backup camera looks like. It's pretty decent. It's not the highest resolution, but it is a large screen, so it kind of helps you see. Now, it doesn't give you like the widest angle. Like, you can still, if there's a car coming, you might not see it, but it does have, a pretty decent view, and it has active guidelines. Not the best camera in the world, I don't think, but it's okay. And I like the way it feels the whole screen. That helps out a lot, being able to see it instead of having just like have this big screen and then just utilizing a small portion of it like some manufacturers do. Also, it has the parking sensors as well, so you can see the parking sensor are popped up here now that we're in reverse. So it'll give you a visual and an audible tone if you get close to something. So front or back, it lets you know. So yeah, I think they did a pretty good job as far as the orientation and the size of the screen here. It's easy to get to, and just looks really nice, kind of integrated nicely. It's not like a separate tablet propped up on the dash or something like that. So yeah, I think they did a great job on it. Sometimes, rarely, there'll be like a little bit of a glare off of depending on the sun or whatever, but it's not bad at all. And the climate control, pretty basic. You have the temperature, fan speed, where you want the air to blow, air conditioning, recirculate the air, and the heated controls there in the back. So the rear glass and the side mirrors, you can press it in like that. But if you want the front defroster, then you can just scroll this all the way to the right. Right now I have it on automatic. Now there is some connectivity here, USB-C, regular USB. There's also a little storage compartment here. Now my phone fits right in here nicely, so I can put that phone right in there. Kind of sinks in. It's rubberized here on the bottom. There's no wireless charger or anything, but there would be a good spot to put it if they're going to have one. There's the start button, start the vehicle. There's the S mode. So I have this on all the time, and even when I restart the vehicle, it stays on. Kind of remembers your setting. But this is, your rev matching, and even if you're not driving fast, you're just kind of driving easy, the rev matching just makes it just a much smoother driving experience. So I'll just leave that on. It's fantastic. I love this shifter, the integration to where it transitions from there to the boot right here. Just looks really good, very comfortable. It's not overly tall or anything, and it's very solid feeling, And going through the gears, there's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. And when you go to reverse, you have to push down on it and go to the right, and then there's reverse. So yeah, really solid feeling shifter, and very intuitive. 6 gears, and you're not going to accidentally go over into reverse, because you have to purposely push it down in order to get over to that right side to put it in reverse. So there's heated seat controls, low and high, for the driver and passenger seats. The ability to pop the hatch back there. It does have a manual parking brake, which is great. I like having a part of the reason why I like a manual one is because you can literally use it if you're driving as a emergency brake. It's not just on or off. You can actually pull up on this and slow the vehicle gently if you need to. So yeah, really like that. Now this armrest, there's a cup holder here, and put a bottle in it so you can see that when you're driving, it doesn't get in the way, and that's important. So if you had bottle holders or whatever here in the way, then you need to use that shifter. So this actually does a pretty decent job as I'm driving to stay out of the way. Okay, so this is not super soft. It is rounded. It has a little soft surface on the top, but it's okay. Hadn't really had an issue, but it's not like super soft or anything. It's definitely not softer down here, but where my elbow goes, it's like not soft. So something to consider when you take it for a test drive. Make sure this is going to be comfortable for you. I think it's fine for most people though. Now this goes forward and back. Let me go ahead and pull it back. You can see there's another cup holder. So if you got a passenger that needs a cup holder, you can slide it back, and that way you have two. You can also press this button and it'll release this up. And this is a little felt line compartment here with a 12-volt power supply in there as well. Now my business card's in there. It's not easily accessed. It's like way behind my elbow, so this compartment is not, especially if you're driving or something, you're not going to be able to access that easily. But I like the way it moves forward and back. That's kind of neat. The rear view mirror is auto dim rear view mirror, and it has the controls here that you can turn it on or off. It also has the HomeLink garage door opener controls here. And this light indicates that the auto dim portion is turned on. There's lights up here. They're very easy to use, just very simple, nothing special. You can turn them all on, turn them all off, or have them turn on with the door in that center position. There's also a roadside assistance emergency button here as well. Now the visors, the headliner's a black cloth, same thing with the visors. And it has a mirror with a light, not super bright or anything, but it has one. There's also an extension here on the side. So instead of sliding out, it just adds this right here to the side. Not really, kind of useful in this vehicle. It does a pretty decent job. Visibility here in the back is not the greatest right here. So like you're just kind of looking in your blind spot when you're back. It's more for like backing out of a parking spot than anything else. But it's just like I said, the nature of the vehicle. It does have a nice big back glass, so you can actually see behind it. And the cargo area is not bad. I mean, it's not fantastic, but it does have the hatchback, which helps out helps putting stuff in and out. For me and my purposes, it's actually pretty good. Put my equipment there. It's a pretty decent height. I can reach it easy. I can open up the hatch and get to everything nicely. I just can't put a lot of stuff, that's all. Behind the seats are these little storage compartments, which come in handy. Well, it's more like just a little shelf, I guess you can say. And then there is a little storage compartment, like so. This one has the manual in it. But yeah, this kind of has like a felt line floor, so you can quickly, throw something in here and then access it when you're sitting in the driver's seat. It's not easily accessed without sitting in the seats, but there's one behind this seat and there's one behind that seat. So that kind of helps out with just kind of quick access when you're in the vehicle. You can just set something back there out of the way. It's really got a really good sound system, but the exhaust, it's even better. So go ahead and accelerate here so you can hear what it sounds like. It really is fun to drive. And it doesn't take long to get up to speed. Really impressive. And the steering is just razor sharp. It is absolutely tight and solid here in the front. It's interesting having gauges for the oil temperature separate from the engine coolant temperature. It also has the differential oil and of course the oil pressure, but having those separate temperatures is pretty interesting because, so like say the engine oil, when you first start the vehicle and it's cold, well, the water temperature raises fast, but the engine oil takes a little while for it to kind of catch up and create an equilibrium in the engine. So just because the water temperature has raised to the highest amount it's going to get, basically, the engine oil is still lagging behind quite a bit. So if you think, okay, well, my engine's warmed up, well, it's not really fully warmed up for like 10 minutes or something of driving, depending on the outside temperature, of course. It's been cold here recently, but so yeah, having those temperatures and the differential oil. So like a differential, this one actually has some passive cooling on it as well, but the differential, there's no combustion going on in there. It's just spinning gears, and the amount of heat that gets generated in the differentials kind of interesting. I mean, I didn't really understand or realize how much heat can get accumulated in the differential just from the gears, the friction from the gears. Considering it has some really thick oil and the gears are very well designed to where they're not, they're very well designed as far as trying to reduce friction. So yeah, it's just kind of interesting being able to see those temperatures while you're driving, and how they change as you drive. It's pretty interesting. As far as just like cruising with this vehicle, just you kind of set the cruise control, put it in 6th gear, and you're cruising along. It's actually pretty good. I mean, it's got a rough ride because it's kind of has that sport suspension. It's not like a floaty, quiet vehicle. It's got a you feel the bumps in the road, and you hear the road noise and stuff like that. But that kind of goes with the territory with this type of car. To have that just razor sharp steering and solid front end just is really a pleasure. So it kind of makes up for any discomfort as far as like the stiffness of the suspension and stuff. And it depends on if you're like on like super bumpy roads. It doesn't matter what vehicle you're in. You're gonna feel some bumps, But this one, stiff suspension and all that, it's definitely not a super smooth ride.